While your medium is primarily anime, manga, and sometimes television, and not writing novels, you are a Japanese writer with one of the largest international audiences of any Japanese writer working today. Which author or authors are your favorites to read, and how have his or her works influenced your writing?
もちろんいろんな国のいろんな本を読むのが僕は大好きなので、特に小説を読むのはすごく好きなので、いろんな国の
Of course, I love reading material from all different countries, and novels from different countries. As far as the heaviest influence on my own work, I would have to say it's the American author, Philip K. Dick, with whom I feel a lot in common with. Most importantly, I saw the movie Blade Runner as a middle school student. I later read the novel and was very amazed by it. I also read Scanner Darkly and Minority Report, both of which have been turned into movies. And as for a Japanese author, I read Haruki Murakami as a middle school student, and I have followed his work since then. Most recently, he has written IQ 84 or 1984.
常に追いかけ続けている素敵な影響も受けている作家、日本人では村上春樹です。
You have been teaching American teenagers about creating anime in an intensive course here at Japan Society for the past 10 days. They have learned a tremendous amount from you, so we are very grateful. I am curious, however, what are the one or two most important insights you have learned from your American students?
もちろんこういう経験というか高校生のまさに
Of course, I don't have much experience directly interacting with people who enjoy my work, in this case with the high school students. So I was very happy to have this opportunity. I think the biggest thing I took away from the students is this feeling of an open, unapologetic love for the animation medium. I was very impressed by the way they enjoyed it. In Japan, at a certain age, we sometimes begin thinking about whether our interest in anime may be frowned upon. So I was very impressed by their pure adoration and enjoyment of the medium. There's so many values. This is partly a factor of being in New York. There's a very diverse ethnic and socioeconomic background on the part of the students. But despite these varied values, they understand and enjoy the work I've created. I write these scripts in Japanese. I write them with a diverse cast of characters with different backgrounds and values, and they interpret these in their own ways.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you've learned a lot from the American students. Do you have any advice if those students want to enter the industry?
これはアメリカの生徒さんにもちろん
This, of course, applies to the American students and possibly to the viewers. It's important to have an outside interest. When you're creating anime, it's quite natural, I think, to know all the details about the history or whatnot about anime specifically, but it's important to have strong outside interests. Could be sports or fashion. In my case, it was music, which is a very important aspect of my work. In the case of Cowboy Bebop, the theme was jazz, and Ghost in the Shell and Eureka 7, it was techno and dance music. With Samurai Champloo, it was hip-hop. The idea was to add something extra of our own. So if you want to enter the anime industry, it's very important to have your own interests so that you can bring your own perspective to the industry.
アニメの世界に自分の色を入れることができると思います。
Thank you. And then if I may ask you one final question. American audiences and Japanese audiences may view the same anime and enjoy it a tremendous amount, but understand it differently. Which of your anime do you think has the biggest gap in the manner in which American and Japanese audiences understood it?
もちろんどの作品も少しずつ違いがあると思いますけれども、大きな意味で一つ挙げる作品があるとしたら、やはりゴースト・イン・ザ・シェルのスタンダード。
Of course, there's always a slight difference in the interpretation of each work. The largest perception gap for one of my works would be Ghost in the Shell standalone complex TV series. Makes references to Catcher in the Rye, Laughing Man, and J.D. Salinger. These are taken from famous American literature that students and adults would be familiar with. But the Japanese viewer may hear these things for the first time and realize or find out that, oh, this comes from a J.D. Salinger references. This is from Catcher in the Rye. And in the same series, there are references to very famous Showa-era incidents. For example, the Japanese Red Cross scandal about the blood transfusion and the Glico Morinaga Candy Company scandal. Famous political incidents that captured the public imagination. These would all be difficult for an American audience and would contribute to a perception gap.
感じ方の違いが出るかなと思いました。
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to interview with us and to come to New York to teach our students.
ありがとうございました。Thank you for watching.